Hey everyone, I should be doing more videos in general, but I've been so busy. Gotta do this celebration stream. We finally took one this year for Mang0, beating Armada twice, so it's just really exciting. Overall, I just wanted to share my thoughts over the past few months. It's just been really awesome. I'll do some Q&A later, but it feels good. It feels good to get one out of the way. It's been a journey since officially getting hired onto C9 to be Mang0's coach. Although I've been informally part of that role since Super Smash Con. So we've been ongoing for a while, but it feels good. Definitely got my share of Reddit threads, Reddit hate. A lot of people wondering if I'm even doing my job. So it feels good. It feels amazing to finally have something to celebrate. So just want to share my thoughts about a few things. It's mostly just about perception. Audience results or oriented mindsets and all that fun stuff, and I gotta give props to Mang0. Jokingly we've said that he's a Mario Kart streamer, but he put in a lot of work, and I think people neglect just because people see that he's streaming Mario Kart that it's like, oh dang, like Mang0 must be fooling around, he may not be practicing, but he practiced a lot against MacD. He's been just playing a lot of Melee in general. So although people see the Mario Kart streams, he's been playing a lot. And I think people tend to forget. And it's kind of funny because if Mang0 didn't show that he was playing Mario Kart, then we'd give him the benefit of the doubt and say all these hours of the day must be going to Melee. But because he's a lot more visible than other players, he must not be practicing at all if he's playing Mario Kart. And I think Thorin actually did a really interesting video about pro players and them getting criticism. So it's an interesting video. The premise of it was that if you are following your schedule and the routine of the stuff you need to get done, then who cares whether or not you're streaming a certain game or you're playing your main game. And why do people that stream other games get more flack than people who don't stream and do other stuff instead? So Mang0's been putting in a lot of work. I have to give him a lot of props. I couldn't be happier. Got Mang0 over just for the floaty practice. And at the event, I thought everything was going well in the first 2 days. The Falco looked amazing. We've been chatting a lot about Falco, Fox, and characters, and just his revelation about the shield game, shield pressuring, how to play against Fox. So you guys have been seeing a lot of great stuff from Mang0, especially against Fox in that matchup, but he looks like almost untouchable. So I'm really happy. He's been putting in a ton of work, and as his coach, I can't be happier for him. I think we jokingly said Royal Flush, it's an environment that Mang0's probably going to fail at, considering he got drunk at other events, but he honed it in. The drinking was limited to day 1, which was mostly doubles, but on day 2 and day 3 we had some beers here and there. We just kept a steady pace of drinks. A lot of people have given us criticism about the drinking and what's going on. But we keep a healthy balance. We don't binge drink. We don't take shots. We don't take 10 shots in an hour and then go to the event. It's more we take a drink every a couple of hours, maybe 2 to 3 hours, just to kind of keep relaxed, not overthink the seriousness of the tournament. Though we want to win, I think if we think too much about winning and all this stuff, then we could put unneeded pressure, and I feel that the beer is needed so that we can just relax, just focus on having fun, not ludicrous amount of fun, but just relax and not get into our own heads about the tournament. And I feel that through experimenting with this, that this actually helps Mang0 perform his best, is when we have a steady balance of water, healthy food, sugarless Red Bull, and alcohol to manage the energy levels, but also keep him nice and relaxed and not get into his own head. So that's how we have been doing the drinking and how we've been balancing it out. Hopefully no one gets the impression that I'm encouraging binge drinking. I don't encourage that at all. But that's our take on drinking. It's just to kind of help them keep in an even keel state. So I just wanted to just address that. What else do I want to talk about here? I think a lot of people, it's the nature of, results and performances and recency bias, but a lot of people, they ride or die and go like, oh, Mang0's number 2 right now after this event, or, whatever you want to say. But I always have to look back and reflect, because there are so many sets that happen in Melee that are just decided by one decision or one series of events, or a series of small, like a really small interaction. And it's hard for me to bring this up in the past because it looks like I'm Johnning. But a few months ago we look at Chu and Axe, and they're like Mang0's demons. But then you really look at the Smash Summit and the Smash rivalry sets. Like Mang0 was up in both those sets, and if Mang0 could have just closed out Game 4 when he had a 3-1 lead and wasn't cocky about it, then this would have been a whole different narrative for us. Or, at DreamHack Austin, just SDing twice as Fox and on Battlefield and just not having the tech. A lot of people are like, well, choose the Mang0 Slayer. Look at the results. It's 3-0. But, as a coach and an analyst, I have to go and look at the matches itself and say, okay, what are the fundamental issues here? Is it doable? Do we need to make big changes? And obviously there's stuff like the down throw down air, but like these sets were very doable in the past. And I think a lot of people kind of run away with this narrative of like, oh, Chu beats Mang0 100% of the time. But the reason why I'm like talking about this is because there's sometimes a small handful of interactions that totally sway the results of a tournament. And sometimes, if Mang0 closes out that Game 4, he has his tech skill at DreamHack, like maybe Mang0 wins those sets. And the point I'm trying to make is that like it's so fickle, and there's so many interactions, like small interactions, that can change a lot of the course of a tournament. It's a difference between a player finishing in 7th or going in first, or a player snowballing, having a negative mindset and getting angry about losing a set and then playing bad in losers, or that interaction doesn't happen, or it swings the other way and it rides the momentum into getting first instead of 7th. To be fair, if I were to look at the other side of the coin, we look at Shroom versus Mang0, and Shroom could have easily won that set. If Shroom landed one more hit or landed 2 more hits, Mang0 would have lost, and he would have finished in what, 5th place, and people would go out from my head and say, why don't we fire him, fire Tafo, and say Mang0's washed up, and kind of continue with that narrative. But because it swung slightly in the other way, Mang0 ended up reaching grand finals, and because Armada somehow missed that edge guard in Game 5 of Set 1 in grand finals, Mang0 ends up coming back and winning the tournament. And I really want to just point out here, like, these few interactions made a world of difference between Mang0 finishing 5th and Mang0 finishing 1st. So we can take it first, both ways. On one hand, Mang0, that one interaction with Shroom where he didn't seal a kill helped Mang0 win, but it could have gone just the other way, and Shroom could have won, finishing his first top 4 ever, maybe finishing in the top 3. Mang0 gets 5th, and we're all sad. Or we look at the flip side of Smash Summit or rivalries. Let's say Mang0 ends up closing those sets out, doesn't get tilted, then we have a completely different narrative going into Royal Flush. And I just really want to point out that like the results can change so much off of just like one little thing. And I'm happy for Mang0, but my goal as coach, and I really want to emphasize this, is that I look at those sets. I look at why was the Shroom set so close, or why are we losing to Chudad, or what are the interactions, and then we work on it. And although Mang0 lost at DreamHack, I'm circling around here. One of the biggest things we really worked on was the mindset, and at Smash Summit and rivalries, Mang0 tilted, and he also tilted so bad that like his like losers bracket, game to Axe, no offense to Axe, like he just ran in and approached in anger. So like one of the big things that we've been trying to work on is, well, how do we prevent that from happening? And that's what, we've been working on trigger points. We've been working on like, okay, like, if you get wobbled, you get shine spiked, you get grabbed by Mutaking, you get spiked, like what can we really do to like make sure that you don't lose your next two stocks? The kind of running joke we really have here with Mang0 is if he gets gimped twice or rested twice, then the set's over. Twice in a row, that is. But the progress we saw at DreamHack was Chu, although Mang0 lost, he didn't tilt against Chu, and that was one of the big things that made me really happy about that. And that's how I've been coaching, that's how we've been digesting things. Although, to be fair, he did tilt against Mutaking, and we diagnosed what happened, and we said, like, okay, what about Mutaking, annoys Mang0 or frustrates him, and we've been working on it. And so that's my mindset behind things. So sometimes, the results don't always go to what I want or what he wants, but we always try to, take away, like, what can we learn from this every event. Even with the Royal Flush run, we did learn a lot, and we did take away a lot. I mean, these are things that, like, aren't new to Mang0. But we ran away with a lot of lessons. Lucky played a huge role, actually, because what ended up happening was Mang0 for the longest time has been really wanting to play Armada. So that's why, like, he said in his head, you've heard him in his stream say, like, well, I really want to play Armada. He was really disappointed at Frame Perfect and DreamHack that Armada dropped out. So Mang0's like, I really want to win, and I really want to beat him. And so that's why, you see him doing these little things like getting McCain or MacD to play against him. But then he lost in winter semis. And, one of the big takeaways we learned from, that was that Mang0 goes into losers. He's still angry from that. And, he just goes in, doesn't respect Shroomed. And, that was a really nail-biting set. And although Shroomed has won one set in the past at CEO like 2 years ago, it was definitely not the quality of play that I was really proud of. And we sat down with him, we meaning Lucky, a little bit of Alex and myself. We just sat him down and said, like, hey, like, you're not respecting anybody, and look at what's happening from this. And we knew that Leffen and Direct Fox was playing on the other side of the bracket, so we knew that Mang0 would have to play a Fox, so he warmed up his Falco against Lucky's Fox, and like Lucky was just flat out destroying Mang0 because Mang0 was not respecting Lucky at all. And I think that moment there in the tournament, where between almost losing to Dewan and getting scraped by Lucky, really helped him realize, like, hey, like, I got to respect my opponents. And we were able to talk to him about just saying, like, hey, like, we can't be giving freebies even to Dewan, who we think, like, if you're playing well, Dewan has like no chance of beating you. But we just said, like, hey, like, you want to beat Hungry Bucks, you want to beat Armada, like, you're gonna have to respect them. And going back to the winner semi set, kind of circling back, we just said, like, hey, like, you play your lasers, you play your shield game, you make them make the play, like, you win. And it was working very well against Armada in the early part of winner semis, and then we deviated from that game plan where you saw on Fountain Stadium and Battlefield, Mang0 stopped lasering, and then we said, like, okay, these are all great reminders, like, hopefully between losing to Lucky, losing winter semis, and almost losing to Rowan, that would give you enough of a push to say, like, hey, like, if you just played a game plan and you respect your opponents and you make it really difficult for them to hit you and you make them earn almost every stock, like, you're going to win. And against Hungry Box, we gave up very little grabs and we gave no rest, although he sometimes went off the stage, here and there, and Hungry Box wasn't able to capitalize. If you saw, for the most part, in the neutral interactions, like, Mang0 gave nearly nothing in the neutral game to Hungry Box to work with. Like, you saw, like, how mobile Mang0 was with lasers to, like, force Hungry Box to approach, and even then, like, Hungry Box couldn't find grab opportunities, he couldn't find anything meaningful, and Mang0 just kind of ran away with it. Admittedly, Hungry Box didn't play super well, so, like, I have to, put that in perspective. I feel like Hungry Box got Shadow Realmed out by Armada, and I felt like Hungry Box's demeanor was like a sense of hopelessness, where it's like, oh, like, how do I beat Armada? He's, like, too good, and I think that heavily affected him in losers. And I think that's also why Hungrybox was so encouraged by Mang0 after Mang0 won. It's because it's like Mang0 showed like Hungrybox like, hey, you can defeat this guy. But I think he was in over his head after losing to Armada. I'm not sure exactly if that's what Hungrybox exactly thought, but that's my speculations. So that's, and then in bracket, we just really when we get to grand finals, we had a little bit of a break. I just said, hey, like I talked to the TOs and said, hey, like, can we get a little bit of a breather between losers finals and grand finals so that we can just kind of recenter. And throughout the day, I've been balancing out. Like I made sure Mang0 had beers to relax, then calm down. If he needed energy or looked lethargic, then I gave him a Red Bull. I always made sure he had water. I always made sure he had something to snack on, just to make sure that everything like from an energy body standpoint, like that he needed, that he could be in the right place and not have to worry about that. So grand finals, we really just emphasized like the same points. Lucky was mostly doing the strategic gameplay coaching. I'm not going to really reveal exactly the small micro adjustments we really made, but we pointed out a few things on the micro interactions that said like, hey, like, if you just do this a little bit more, if you do that a little bit more, like we're going to outplay Armada here. And, we're going to, like, Armada is not going to know what to do right away if we keep these other options in play. And so Lucky really emphasized certain options. I really emphasized certain little things too. And from there, I just really said like, hey, like you laser, you win. Like you laser, you shield really well, you make them make the play, you win. And if even Armada like doing like 80 damage per an opening, like we just said like Armada is gonna have to find openings. Before we also talked about stages. Mang0's always been really tempted to play Yoshi's, and I just said no, like you're way better on Battlefield and Stadium for the time being. So the stages worked really interesting. We always wanted, if you really think about stages against Armada, Armada is going to ban, Mang0 will ban FD in Fountain, and Armada is going to ban Battlefield and Yoshi's. So we start to Dreamland. Armada can deviate from the strategy and actually go Yoshi's in game one, although that seems a little bit counterintuitive to a lot of people. But Armada, like, it might be a good stage for Armada in the future. I'm not sure if he's actually going to go Yoshi's game one. That'd be really interesting if he does. But we always start Dreamland game one. So if you guys are curious on how strikes work, that's pretty much what happens. Armada not going to want Battlefield against Mang0 because it's just the top platform in the room that he has to run around. It's a pretty good stage. And plus you have better kill power on that stage as opposed to on Dreamland. So that's how it goes. And then if Armada wins, then he goes FD, of course, just such a powerful stage. And I just said, at Genesis we deviated, or I've told them in the past, like, hey, like, stop going Yoshi's, after you get chain grab, because, chain grab, if you get chain grab, you get really antsy, and you just want to run at them in Yoshi's, and then it's going to be a 2-game swing, and we're going to, sorry about that, my screen fell. We're going to lose 2 games in a row if you get chain grabbed and you tilt, and then you go to Yoshi's thinking you can just run at Armada, because like you just run at Armada and you approach unsafely, you're just going to get wrecked. And that's what happened at Genesis. So I'm glad that this time around we pivoted on the strategy and we said either go Battlefield or Stadium. And Mang0 will tell you he doesn't really like Stadium, but at the very least it's a long horizontal stage where it encourages you to laser. And so we went for that. It worked out pretty well for us. Battlefield's always been a really good stage for Mang0 on that matchup. I think Peach struggles, actually, personally, on Battlefield, just with how the top platform works and how you can just escape. So those are our 2 preferred counter picks. And it worked out pretty well. We fell a little bit behind, and Mang0 clutched out so much. Like, I have to say, like in every situation where Armada, like, could have probably won, or it was like a 50-50, or Armada looked like he was going to close the game, like Mang0 somehow pulled it out of his ass to win. So the Fountain of Dreams game, like, I don't think Mang0 had any business winning, to be perfectly honest. But Mang0 did punish really hard. His shine combos were really good. And then we got to set two, and we took a breather. We just said, hey, like you're just play like you've been doing in the last stocks of the stadium and fountain game, and you're going to win. I forget the exact results of set two. We talked about characters. We thought we were. I just was curious if he wanted to swap out again on FD, but he felt really confident in FD. So FD Fox. So we just said like, okay, like if you feel like you have momentum here, like go FD Fox, and that's fine. But overall, you see a lot of interactions where Mang0 just made the one extra play, whether it was a double jump or a timely shield or just outmaneuvering Armada. And he edge guarded really well. So there are a lot of things that Mang0 did right. Although there are like some like things that's like, oh my gosh, like Mang0, what are you doing? And at the end we won. It was, I almost cried when it happened. It was a very tearful moment for me because it's just like really hard to sometimes, just like see like Mang0 work so hard. Like I don't think people understand like how hard he has been working to practice, and I think a lot of people could just have this perception of him like he's just this drunk guy that streams other games, but like look at how much he plays the game and he practices, and like even look at his like ledge play, like especially like watch the set against the Moon and look at how much like he's like implementing new tech. Like he really wants to win. Like, and I think a lot of people see the fun side of him or the Mario Kart side of him, but like this guy, like he's like, it's hard to like watch sometimes from my end, although he doesn't really show it, but like to go train super hard for Summit and then lose like that was demoralizing, and like having Armada not show up for his run back where Mang0 wanted, it was like, it sucked for us. It was really hard. But I just hope people realize like not that he's not washed up, but like he's working towards like getting good, and like he's not just this guy that's slacking. Like he's putting in a lot of work, and the previous bracket has just been just a matter of just like unfortunate circumstances, which as me as a coach I have to fix and work game plans and work training and work little things to help. But the point being is just I'm so proud of him, and like I'm really excited. I'm really happy for all you guys at home that support us, that didn't like lose faith in us. It really made me question myself a lot too. Like I know this isn't the end, like we want to win more, but like at least we got the monkey off our back, because a lot of people are just like let's fire Tafo, let's like do this, like he's like worthless to the team, he's making Mang0 worse, and it's just like and I knew like from Mang0, like he's got my back too, and he's just like, he has told me from time to time like, oh, I wish you didn't get so much shit. So just to have that moment where like that little moment where we finally win one was just like it was a very emotional moment. We had a lot of fun. We took a limo back thanks to Royal Flush. It was a great event. I know that Armada could have easily won that set too. Like that was in his bag, and there's so many things that could have not gone our way, and Mang0 could have lost. So it's up to us, just keep improving, to make sure that that we're prepared and that we can safeguard against the random variance that comes with playing Fox and Falco. So that's my thoughts on coaching and all this fun stuff. It was a little bit of a ramble, but hopefully you guys get a little bit from me. So thank you for listening.